Hey guys, it's Blake and Jonathan from Just Nerds, and we are back with another Just a Podcast.
What's
And
up?
I don't know what episode this is.
I think it's eight.
Eight? Okay.
Yeah,
Episode eight, hopefully.
I'm pretty sure
So,
it's eight.
yeah. So first, we're
Oh,
just gonna start off with some current news. I don't have that many, but this is mostly about Warner Brothers.
all right.
So we know that Batman v Superman did not have the greatest reception.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of this you probably know already, Blake, but just for people who don't know.
hmm
So Ben Affleck was now placed as executive producer of the Justice League movie. So that means
hmm
he has a lot more control over the film, which probably gives Zack Snyder a lot less control, which a lot of people were worried about. So I think do you think that shows that DC doesn't have a lot of faith in Zack Snyder right now?
Um, I think it means something along those lines. I don't know if it means exactly that, but I definitely think it means like something kind of like there, or at least they don't have as much faith in, I guess, the way it's going right now. Just, I think
Mhm.
they're just in the scope and the entire DC universe in general. Or the entire DC cinematic universe, I guess in general. They don't really have a lot of faith in where it's going
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know if I ever told you this. I think I did, but like I read up that when BVS started getting poor ratings, like they were like actually like surprised, like they were actually like, "Whoa, how did this
Oh
happen?" This
wow.
like like they were like literally sitting in the board meetings and stuff and being all like how did this not work? This was like the greatest movie we've ever made and stuff like that.
Wow. That's
Like
crazy.
yeah, like they were actually like legit surprised, and like I don't know, I guess everybody
Dang.
else like that watched the movie and the critics were like, no, like how did you mess this up, like
Yeah.
so I mean, I definitely think that putting Ben Affleck, um I don't know if that's like a good idea or a bad idea. I don't really
Yeah.
know a lot of how he's directed and stuff like that over the past. I didn't see Argo and stuff like that. I hear good things, but I guess
Mhm.
we'll have to see how he does with like a superhero movie. So
Yeah, and because I remember talking about it with Max.
hmm
He hadn't seen it, but he knew about the bad reception,
hmm
and it didn't really hit me at first because I think Batman v Superman brought in about like 164 million worldwide,
hmm
and that's still a lot of money.
yeah,
But when you consider, wait a minute, this is Batman v Superman. This was supposed to be like one of the biggest films of all time,
hmm
and it didn't make as much as Warner Brothers thought or as much as other people thought it would. And
hmm
even like the critics, they just hate it.
hmm
And it's just unbelievable how like Batman v Superman, you think, man, that's going to be one of the greatest movies or like at least one of the biggest movies of all time.
hmm
But just the reception is unbelievable. It's crazy.
No, I know. I remember. I was at the mall with Shane and John, or Shane and my other friend John. Uh, and I was sitting down, and I think it was like a day or two before it actually came out to like the public. And I was looking on Rotten Tomatoes, and as soon as I saw that like 30%, I was all like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
no!" Like I literally felt my heart just sink. I was like, "They did it! They killed it!" So like I was all like, "No!" And then I showed Shane, my brother Shane, and John, and they were all like, and they were just all like, "Oh no!" Like, oh man, I was all like, "Dude, we need to see this movie. I need to see just
Mhm.
what happened." So, but like, I don't know, man. I mean, I hope Ben Affleck kind of like, like goes in a different direction with it. Or at least because he's just a producer, so it's like he has more control, but I don't think he has the control. Um, but I am hoping that you know it'll be good. But I do think that the only con I can kind of see, like as of right now, is how because he's Batman, he's gonna make the films a lot more Batman centric than
Mhm.
everybody else, and I feel like that's kind of a problem. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Because like at this point, everybody kind of loves Batman and knows Batman. Like, even this new one, I think we could kind of see like, okay, this is still Batman that we know and think is awesome, you know. So I don't know. I think that's the only like possible again, not like a straight. It's gonna be a bad thing. I think it's a possible bad thing that he's just gonna make it so much Batman that it's just like, okay, we get it. Like, where's everybody else? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it gonna be Justice League or is it gonna be Justice League starring Batman? You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the only,
Yeah.
I guess, bad thing I can say about it. So,
Yeah.
or
And
possible.
yeah. And apparently, I didn't know this at first, or I guess it kind of makes sense by what we've seen over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But Man of Steel, it made like 668 million worldwide.
Mm.
A lot of money,
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of money.
according to DC, that was like pretty much a failure, and we can kind of see that, because they pretty much made the Man of Steel sequel, Batman v
Mm-hmm.
Superman after that, because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have faith in Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and 200 million more. That's still a lot, but again, this is Batman v Superman,
Mm-hmm.
so it can't. Warner Brothers must not be feeling pretty good right now,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently a lot of people, like insiders of the industry or just people in general, thought that they would need to bring in at least $1 billion to match up like this universe
Mm-hmm.
to the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah, I
because
heard that.
yeah, because I'm not sure this is true. I didn't check every movie, but people were saying that like the standalone Marvel films, like Thor, the single character movies,
Mm-hmm.
made so much money on their own. And so Batman v Superman had to bring in the money because this is, such a bigger film than those.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was expecting it to be the biggest like thing ever, and then
Mm-hmm.
because it had like the biggest opening weekend or something like that. Like it had something like that. It set one record, I
Mm-hmm.
think, but and then after that, it had like I think the latest total I heard was like 68% drop in
Yeah,
sales. Like
that
that's a
was
massive drop. Like that's big.
yeah.
Like wow. Okay, that's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, I just I can't help but wonder like what happened in that regard. You know what I mean? Like was it just bad marketing? Was it just people spreading word of mouth saying it sucks, don't waste your time or something like that? Or was it like because I have heard this one like I don't know where I heard it, but I heard that some people think are starting to think that like critics are biased towards DC and Warner Brothers in
Oh
general,
yeah.
just saying like oh all the critics are in favor of Marvel over DC, which to some extent, I guess I could see why they think that, but I don't really think that's the problem because, like, the
Yeah.
more I look at BVS and Man of Steel, I'm more like, you know what? I can totally see why people have problems with these movies. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I remember that I think it was Zack Snyder or I don't know, but or Warner Bros. In general. But I remember was it is it it was James Wan or Aquaman? Who's the guy who played Jason Momoa?
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was
hmm
Jason Momoa who said, "Well, like the critics, it doesn't matter what they say because the fans are gonna watch, or the fans are gonna love it. They're gonna watch it." But
hmm
then, we've seen that the fans had big problems with it.
exactly. And I found that so, and you know what though, like having seen the movie, like it's clear that the movie is built for fans, but I don't think that like when you look at the Marvel movies, they're really not. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
they're movies that are built for like everybody, people who don't know who these characters are and people who do. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They balance both. Like, so I just feel like BBS had mm, it didn't really quite well, BBS has tons of issues on my end, but I'm not gonna just go out on it, start
Hmm.
ranting. But um, I don't know, man. I think Jason Momoa is right. I feel like because I have seen a fair amount of praise for it. Like I saw one review where this guy was all like, "This is the greatest movie of our generation." And I was all like, I don't think so. but okay. But so, I mean, I can see a lot of praise, and I can see why that praise comes by. But in my opinion, I feel like it just has far too many glaring issues to be like,
Mm-hmm.
So, but I still do think that in some ways, like a 68% drop in sales is like criminally bad. Like that's not even
Yeah.
fair. Like I don't know, whoever didn't go see that movie, I'm just so like, why did you not go see it? It was still like a movie, and it's still Batman versus Superman. Like, just go
Yeah.
see it. Like,
Yeah, I was really surprised when I came back to college after break that of all my friends, none of them saw it. Like
that's so
nobody saw
weird.
it.
That's so weird, man. I
I
just
know.
like, I don't
I
know.
was the only one who saw it.
I don't know what happened on that end, but
Yeah.
whatever, man. Let's just hope they
Um.
improve from here.
Yeah. So, just that the other thing I have is that which we've discussed that after this, according to different sources, Warner Brothers, is having fights, you know,
Amongst itself,
within
yeah.
yeah, within like the executives and over Zack Snyder and the direction
Yep,
they should go.
yep.
Oof.
I saw that. I felt bad for
And
Zack, man, in some
yeah,
ways.
yeah. And from that, the Flash director left.
I heard about that. I was like,
Yeah,
what? Oh my
that,
gosh. And
yeah,
then,
that was
because my
crazy.
brother, yeah, my brother fed me that bit of news, and he was all like, dude, the Flash director just left. I was all like, for the show? Why? He was doing a really good job. And he's all like, no, 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 dude, for the movie. I was all like, what? Why? And he was all like, creative. Well, I think he said creative differences or something like that.
Yeah,
That's what he cited. I was all like, oh no,
yeah. Ugh.
this doesn't sound good. Again, I had one of those heart sinking moments. I was all like, oh god, we're screwed.
Mm.
Like, game over, guys. It's Infinite Crisis all over again. Let's go home. Like,
Yeah, and then on
this
top
is
of
it.
that, there's rumors that James Wan, director of Aquaman, is considering leaving Aquaman because he's
Dang,
just
man.
wondering, like, is it worth all the hassle?
Yeah, no. I mean, because from what I understand about BVS is that Zack Snyder has basically kind of gone on record and everything to say like, no, this is my movie. Production's not really interfering. This is what he wanted. Like, it was his vision.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, he's owning up to it. So like, and this was all before it came out. So it sounds like production. It wasn't like a Fantastic Four thing where production was just all like, oh, this is terrible and stuff like that, and just all over the place where nobody knew what the heck to do. It sounded like it all came together and it was produced like well. Like it didn't sound like anything was going crazy. But I don't know, man. Hearing about the Flash and Aquaman, it's like it's so weird. And it was weird because my brother, we were talking about this for a little bit, and he's all like, "You know what's weird?" And I was like, "What?" He's all like, "When you hear about Marvel, like you'll never see a director of a Marvel movie just get up and leave because of creative differences." And I was all like, "That's so true. Like, what does Disney or whoever's in charge of that just do to like make sure that movie is whoever's vision and it turns out that good? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the only thing I can remember is Ant-Man with Edgar Wright,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, we said this in the last podcast, but they've kind of changed that where now Kevin Feige's kind of in charge of everything now,
Mm-hmm.
and so there'll be less conflict within Disney and the directors,
Mm-hmm.
which Warner Brothers might have to think about.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but on YouTube, Did You Know Movies came out with an episode for the Avengers, and from watching that, it sounds like Marvel was basically like just sick and tired of people taking their characters and then just having them suck on screen, like Fantastic Four and like the old X-Men movies and stuff like that. Like, and they were just all like, no, we're gonna, you know what, we're just gonna go on our own and we're gonna do it. And then that's when they had Iron Man and just everything else. And
Yeah.
like I feel like maybe I think Warner Brothers might be getting in the way of DC being able to do what they want.
Mm.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's DC just doesn't have any idea what the heck they're doing, and Warner Brothers is trying to help them, but DC saying no. Whatever's going on in that company, in that space, is just beyond me. I don't know what the heck to do. I don't know what the heck to say. Like it's just like I guess I just have to kind of sit and wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I find that crazy to hear that a director literally just got up and left, and
Yeah.
such a big movie. Like The Flash is pretty well recognized now. Like
Hmm.
like I feel like now we're living in the age of where, oh shoot, The Flash, that guy's awesome. Like you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the last bit of news is with none of this is confirmed. We still got to see.
Mm-hmm.
But since Ben Affleck, as we know, is directing the next Batman standalone movie,
Mm-hmm.
apparently, since he is now the executive producer of Justice League, he came out and said that, like, with his idea of Batman, of the next Batman movie, he says that he wants the idea of, like, just having a bunch of Batman's, like, row gallery in the next film. And I'm not exactly sure what he meant by that, like, all of them, or, like, Arkham Asylum,
Mm-hmm.
or, I don't know, but,
Mm.
yeah.
It sounds like kind of like what I said earlier. Like it's just so much Batman, and just like, oh boy, like you know
Mhm.
what I mean.
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
I don't really know how to feel about that because like at the end of the day, Batman has probably one of the greatest, like has some, I'm not one, some of the greatest villains of all comics. Like you know what I
Hmm.
mean. But it's just so like, all right, are you just gonna throw him in there because just Batman, Batman, Batman? Like okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Or is it gonna be all like, or are they gonna sit down and be all like, okay, we're gonna Dark Knight this. We're gonna take the villains and bring them into this realm of okay, they're awesome still and stuff like that. And I'm extremely curious because again, we're dealing with a completely different Batman. We're dealing with a Batman who lives in the same universe as Superman and Wonder Woman, um, who lives in the realm of superheroes. So it would be interesting to see like characters like Clayface come to life and stuff like that. Like characters with actual like super powers and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that would be interesting, and I hope that's kind of what he means by that. Like he means by the rogue gallery is in we're gonna like bring in the ones that like bring in the big guns. Like we're gonna show the actual Bane, or maybe like the real Clayface or Killer Croc and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like that's what I'm at least hoping for. I don't know what he means by that at all, but okay.
Yeah.
So
Um, so before we go into, like, the topic that you mentioned, uh, there's actually something. I know we're going back to Batman v Superman,
mm,
but and you might have heard this, but there was an interesting quote I saw, like, just a little while ago in a video
mm-hmm,
where Zack Snyder was on a podcast, and he
mm-hmm,
was talking about the confrontation between Batman and Superman,
mm-hmm.
and um, I think what it was either for the fight itself or when they have. I think it was when Batman crashes into Superman and they have that little standoff before he flies away.
Oh yeah, where he runs and where Superman stands in his way, hits the
Yeah,
Batmobile. I thought that scene was really good, but ultimately it was like pointless. Why is Superman doing this? Like what the heck? Like
yeah, it was
whatever.
weird.
Anyways, go
But,
on.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but after that scene, is that when they meet in person, like as Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent?
um, I'm actually not 100% sure. I think the scene where they meet as Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne comes before,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then because I remember that scene is Batman chasing after the kryptonite, right?
Hmm.
I I think I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100%. Again, the movie I don't have it on Blu-ray, so I can't like tell you. But I think they meet as Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne before Batman gets what he needs from Lex Luthor and then goes after the kryptonite. Superman stops him, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
I,
But why?
yeah, I think you're right. But because when they have that little confrontation as Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
that's the clashing of ideologies, which is a pretty cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, according to Zack Snyder, the reason we don't get them, like, talking about their ideologies, as Batman and Superman, is that apparently he thought that, like, you can't have them talking together when they're wearing the costumes, you said something along the lines of you can't have more than like 5 or 6 lines of them talking in costume, because after that point you kind of realize, or it pops up in your brain, hey, this is a guy dressed, with an S on his chest, wearing a cape. The other guy is dressed as a bat. This is kind of a silly scene, It's silly if you see these two guys wearing their costumes and just doing these long scenes together. And the whole time when I was hearing that, I thought, but why? Like, why is that so silly in a comic book movie? And then the video I was watching showed a few scenes of, great scenes where that was happening, like in The Dark Knight when Batman was talking to Joker. And then a great one was Thor. He's in his whole costume, wearing the cape and everything, and Loki's wearing his thing and with the helmet, and they're having this amazing conversation, and it's just like, this is great. So why don't they have this in Batman v Superman?
I would also bring up the Avengers in the scene where like they're all fighting. Like, yeah, it looks kind of silly. Like Captain America's still in his blue suit, and sorry. But yeah, they're like Captain America's still in his blue suit, Thor's still in his thing, Nick Fury, Black Widow, like they're all there. And so it's kind of like, no, I can take this seriously. Like the whole conflict in that scene alone, between Captain America and Iron Man, I remember sitting in the theater with my cousin, and like, when they're having their spiel where he's all like, you're like, when Captain America's talking to Iron Man and being all like you wouldn't lay on a wire and let the other guy walk across, and Iron Man's all like, everything special about you came out of a bottle. I remember leaning over to my cousin and being all like, and I remember whispering to him, Civil War. And like, sure enough, that actually happened. Like, I thought I was just kidding, but like, they were legit. I was all like, oh my God, I was right. Like, I thought, like, I totally saw that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can see that in Avengers too. You can see that like in like all the movies that they're in. Like, you can see their conflict no matter if they're in the suit or not. It's about the character at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you're wearing as long as it like I can understand and like feel for that character, which Zack doesn't. But but no, yeah, like I and I also think of it in the terms of Batman and Superman specifically. I can think of this one scene in Superman the animated series where Batman comes to Metropolis looking for the Joker, and I'll send you a link to the scene because it's a really cool. I honestly look at that scene and be like, why didn't you just watch this one clip? If you watched this one clip, Zack, you would have understood everything about these two and why they fight. But it's this one scene where like Batman's interrogating this one guy, and he's like really like interrogating him, like he's scaring the crap out of him. And Superman like comes, it's like, all right, that's enough. And Batman like chucks him across the room, Superman across the room, and then Superman like comes over like and just like shoulders him off the guy. And Superman's all like, dude, I heard you were crazy, but I didn't think you were stupid. And I was just all like, see, this is why they fight. This is like why they conflict each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, and one of my biggest flaws with Superman in this movie is the fact that I don't understand why he hates Batman at all. Like, I don't get it. Like, I totally can, like, understand why Batman hates Superman. It's like, oh, you killed that one guy who was in my office.
Even though Batman's killed so many people.
Yeah, I know. And then what does Superman do in, like, the first couple minutes of the movie? He throws a guy through, like, 10 walls. What the heck? Oh. I was all like, oh, that's what? I remember seeing that. I was all like, oh, he's gonna do something sick, like catch the bullet or laser the gun out of his hands. No, he throws him through a couple walls. I was like, what the heck? Okay, he's dead. Like I remember thinking to myself, if they bring out the bullcrap argument that he's alive, that is stupid. That guy is dead. That guy is a pancake right now. I was all, oh, whatever. But yeah, so I just think that the whole costume argument, like them look like, what about Watchmen? They did that in Watchmen. Like the whole last scene, everybody's in costume, and they're all talking about like crazy, like actual harsh subjects like war and destiny and the future and stuff like that. I don't care how dumb. Like one of the guys is naked. I will have you note. One of them is naked and blue.
It's not a costume though, Blake.
I don't. Who cares? All right, he is naked and blue, and yet you can still make that scene dramatic. Like, don't give me that, Zach. What the heck, dude? What? I don't even That pisses me off so much. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand. Like,
Well, because my first thought was, wait, like these are comic books.
yeah,
That happens all the time.
yeah. It's not. Dear God, man, it's not a. Whatever. You understand my point. It's just
Yeah.
stupid.
I just thought it was a very interesting thing for him to say.
Yeah. Oh man, have you heard some of the things he said? He said some things that I'm just all like, why did we let him do this? Like, I sent you that quote, right? Where he was talking about Superman when he was making Watchmen, about how like Superman would sit all the politics down and say like, be nice or I'll
Yeah.
kill you or something like that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what the heck? Like, he goes on, like, I don't know if you ever heard this, but in Man of Steel, you know how everybody was complaining about the destruction?
Mhm.
He goes on and he says, like, well, why is everybody complaining about destruction? In The Force Awakens, they kill like 5 planets. And the first thing that comes to my mind is all like, dude, that's the bad guys doing that crap. Like, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
we have to stop them. Superman doing it is like, oh my God, like, this is Superman tearing up a city. And like, I get it. He doesn't do it intentionally. And I'll still defend,
Mhm.
some of the aspects of the destruction. Like, I'll
Yeah.
always admit that if Superman was to exist in this world, that's probably how a fight like that would go down.
Mhm.
I mean, when I look at that scene though, I'm like, okay, maybe we should have had more scenes of Superman like saving people from the destruction, like chucking Zod off and then saving some people from a falling building or something like that. I think that would have made Superman a lot more likable, a lot more okay. Like, I get that that's the Superman I know and love, and he does that once in Man of Steel. He does that to one military guy where he like falls out of the helicopter and Superman catches him, and that's the only time you see Superman like actually saving people. And I I don't know, like, but like the way he said that, I was just all like, bro, that's the dark side doing that. Like, yes, like I was just like, dude, you don't even like see. Like I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is stupid. And then I'm not 100% sure about this quote, but I remember reading in like an article about how he was talking about Batman versus Superman. Um, isn't a sequel to Man of Steel. It's supposed to be in the vein of Watchmen.
Mhm.
And I'm just all like, what? Watchmen is like one of the most depressing, like sad comics ever. Like, I remember watching that movie and like some of it, and I'm just like, there's like no hope in this movie. Everybody who's cool and like stands for rightness like dies, and I'm just like, what is this? This is horrible. Like, and hearing that, I'm all like, it's so clear now. I understand. And I was like, that doesn't change how I feel about it. I'm still upset.
I
Oh
just think
man.
it's interesting how he compared it to the movie that he also directed.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know, man. He really liked Watchmen for some reason.
He really liked
Yeah.
watching.
Like, I don't even know if he's just not just his movie. He liked like everything. Like, I feel like Watchmen, he was like so proud of. Like, he's just like, yes, Watchmen is my masterpiece. And like, okay. Everything else you've done is like, you know, because I feel like that's kind of what he falls back on. Like I remember seeing some stuff where people are talking about BVS, and he's all like, well, with Watchmen, and I was all like, pretty sure we were talking about Batman versus Superman, but all right, if you want to talk about Watchmen, that's okay. Like, I don't know, man.
That's
That,
funny.
that that's a. I would love to just sit down with him and talk about movies and just be all like, I feel like I'd come out of that office being like, okay, I learned nothing. Uh, but no, man, it would be interesting. Oh, but there is one thing I wanted to actually ask you, and it doesn't really follow superhero movies. We'll get back to that later. But
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed
Yes,
trailer got leaked. Did you see it?
I
Or
did
not
not.
leaked? It got shown. Oh, you didn't.
I, I will watch it right now.
Oh, you don't have to watch it right
I
now.
will watch it right now.
Oh, okay, be my
But
guest.
what did you think?
Um, it looks promising. It looks pretty promising. Like, I'm not crazy Assassin's Creed man. That's my brother. My brother loves these games. I couldn't even get through one. I was just all like, nah, this game's not fun. But I actually do want to go see the movie because I'm like extremely curious to see if it works because it looks pretty promising. The music a lot of people are like really, really, really upset about the music because they use a Kanye West song.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I actually didn't think it was like that bad a choice. I thought it was weird. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but I was like, well, at least the lyrics kind of make like sense. Quote like question mark. I was like, that makes sense. Like, and I watched this one trailer where they like quote unquote fix the music and they use like I think it's Assassin's Creed Revelations music. I could be wrong, but I
Hmm.
actually was all like, okay, I could definitely see why that works better. So, I think other than maybe the music, I was like, this is good. This looks pretty promising.
This looks like an interesting trailer.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
weird.
it's a
They
Kanye
actually,
West song.
yeah, they actually credit Ubisoft with it, and I was all like, oh
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
that's cool. So yeah, man, it looks pretty promising. My brother's really excited for it. I'm actually pretty excited for it. If Warcraft does not um, fulfill the good video game quota, video game movie quota, I think Assassin's Creed might. But if that fails too, I think that like it's just time to like toss in the
Uh,
towel.
did you hear about Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah, yeah, I know, man. I was I
Yeah.
like it was interesting because I was watching a podcast or listening to a podcast rather, with him, the guy, the voice of Ratchet. And by the way, love that guy. He's one of the greatest voice actors ever. Seriously, that guy rocks.
Hmm.
But he was talking about it, and he actually was all like, he wasn't like dodging the criticisms. He was all like, yeah, there were a lot of problems with the movie. He said,
Hmm.
but he brought up some really interesting points. Like, I guess the studio only had like $20 million to
Hmm.
make the movie. And for the animation, they had to use, because of costs, they had to use the game's engine, like the video game engine for the animation. So like all the animated cutscenes that you're gonna see like in the PS4 game, that's the same engine that the movie is running on because they had to save money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
That's
I was all
interesting.
like, it's so weird. Like Sony did not put any money into this at all. Like,
So that makes it seem like Sony just thought it like as an afterthought. Like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
the game's coming out. Let's, make a movie to,
mhm.
make more money with, the connection, but
Yeah,
only 20 million.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And it was weird because he brought up the fact that he was like, Ratchet and Clank was made on a budget of 20 million. Zootopia was made on a budget of 200 million. And I was all like, okay, yeah. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I was all like, okay, maybe it was a money problem, but I'm not gonna like pin everything on just the money problem because like I haven't seen it yet, but from what I hear, the writing is like the jokes are very like
Yeah.
kiddie level,
Hmm.
and but I hear there are like a few solid laughs and a few like really good things, but I just hear a lot of general stuff like Ratchet and Clank weren't the focus, like it's more of a Captain Quark movie, which
Hmm.
I thought was weird. Don't get me wrong, Captain Quark's hilarious as heck. And I usually laugh at like everything he says in the Ratchet and Clank games I've played, but it was the fact that I heard that they didn't focus on Ratchet and Clank, and in fact, in the first like couple like minutes when they actually like are team up, they actually separate them. I'm like, that's what? Why would you do that? That's Ratchet and
Hmm.
Clank. Like that's the title of the game. It's like separating Jack and Daxter. Like why? You don't do that. They have to stay together. Number one, if we made a movie out of Jack and Daxter one, Jack's mute, so that means nothing.
Yeah.
And Daxter like speaks for Jack, and he's the funniest part of the game. So it's like that's weird for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what though? I still want to see it just out of curiosity
Same. Yeah.
because I'm really curious about it.
I just hear like one of the biggest negatives that it's just the game's cutscenes, but with just a few extra scenes.
Yeah, that's another thing I hear too. Which is, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? But also, I don't know if I told you. Just another movie thing. I saw Jungle Book.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was weird. I love the movie, but you know why? I figured out why I don't like Maleficent, but I loved Cinderella and Jungle Book, the
Hmm.
reeditions of them. It's because, and I was talking to my brother about this. I had a really long conversation with him about this. It's because the Jungle Book and Cinderella add something to the conversation.
Yeah.
Maleficent, if it does anything, it actually takes away from the conversation. Like the old Maleficent, like I remember I was talking to Shane. I was all like, what's the thing when you watch the original Sleeping Beauty, the Disney one, the old one, the animated one? When you look at Maleficent, did you really like ultimately care what was driving her to like do these things? Probably not. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the part of you that's just like, oh, this is a fairy tale. I just want to like, I
Hmm.
want to do this. You know what I mean? Like her motives didn't really matter that much because you just understood that she was evil. Like Maleficent is Maleficent. She's like the most evil thing ever. She's like Disney. I would actually argue that she is Disney's like number one animated villain.
Hmm.
Like she is the villain, So
Yeah.
and so with Maleficent, the actual movie with Angelina Jolie, I actually think Maleficent was fine, but everybody else had something taken away from them.
Yeah.
Like Sleeping Beauty's mom is dead, so it's like she didn't even get anything. She got the short end
Yeah.
of the stick. Sleeping Beauty gained nothing. In fact, she's just as like kind of like dumb and innocent as ever. I'm just like, you didn't get anything. You're just the same god. You're just the same animated version I saw last. Like whatever. The
And
fairies
the
got
father. Oh,
yeah
the
yeah the
fairies.
fairies
They
the
got the
biggest
worst treatment.
exactly they lost everything. Like they didn't they were all the same. They were all three of them were stupid. I was all like, why? They were like weren't they like a main part of the original movie? And then
Yeah, they were. Oh,
yeah, the
jeez.
prince had nothing. The prince got nothing. He was
Yeah.
there for literally no reason. And then the king, you know,
Hmm.
the crow. The crow got more
Oh.
than the fairies did, than Sleeping Beauty herself did. I
Yeah,
was like, what?
that's pretty weird.
That is weird, right? But when I look at Cinderella and the Jungle Book, the Jungle Book adds the entire. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it adds the entire like fire thing, the entire like it brings both elements from the movie and from the book, and it blends them together so well. Like the red flower thing, I didn't even know there was a thing in the original movie. Like I thought that was
Mm.
brilliant, and using it as a way of like kind of like a metaphor. I thought that was really really cool. Um, I liked how Shere Khan's backstory was kind of revealed. I liked that.
Yeah, that was
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I liked like no character felt anything was detracted, but only added. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I liked it. And Cinderella has kind of a similar case. Like all the characters, like they feel like they're the same, but they have stuff added to them. Like like the original Cinderella is kind of about like like working hard and you'll get rewarded, but this new Cinderella is about that as well. But it's also about like love being about what did I say? Like love kind of being about like take me for as I am, even though I'm flawed. Like you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that was Cinderella, and I was all like, that's why I like those movies so much more than Maleficent. Maleficent didn't do anything to add to it. It just made Maleficent like a more, I guess, understandable character, which I didn't really think was the point of Maleficent. It's
Yeah.
kind of, you know what? I kind of compare it to what they did with the Wicked Witch of from The Wizard of Oz. Like they just kind of like Wicked. That's not
Hmm.
canon.
Yeah.
Like Wicked was never like written by L. Frank Baum. Wicked was just some guy being all like, "Well, this is how I kind of think she turned green," and then they changed it to in the Oz the Great and Powerful. They made it so that she was like corrupted and stuff like that or betrayed. And so it's kind of like, why do that though? The Wicked Witch was just evil because she was evil. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's another example is like Emperor Palpatine. Before the prequels, he was just the big bad. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but like I just kind of figured out that I think that's why I like the Jungle Book,
Yeah.
and you
I
know,
remember talking about it on Twitter, my immediate thoughts after. And
mm-hmm,
my initial thing was like the way the Jungle Book did it, as you said, it like added to certain things. And maybe it took things out, like less emphasis like on, certain scenes.
mm-hmm,
But it added to a lot of things, but the overall like core structure was the same. As you
mm-hmm.
said, they didn't take away, like they didn't make like Shere Khan was pretty much Shere Khan, but with extra, I guess, motivation.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't try to make him more sympathetic, I guess. They just explained why he wants to kill Mowgli.
Yeah, exactly.
So overall, it's still the core movie. It's just, with some differences.
Mm-hmm.
Maleficent, they change so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where it's pretty much a different story by that point.
Mm-hmm. And for seemingly like no purpose, like it didn't do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why they made the fairy so stupid. Like, I just didn't see why. Like, I just didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hated the fairies so
Yeah,
much
they
in
were
that
the
movie.
worst. Like, I remember seeing them and be like, this is stupid. Like, but yeah, so I think that was a really really good movie. A lot of fun. It was very charming. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Is that it was good.
Yeah.
Like, it was just solid, and I'd totally buy it. I think it's a great movie.
Dude, same.
Yeah, man.
I remember thinking, like, the whole thing they added with the wolves and, like, the pack. 'Cause I don't think we
Yes.
got that in the original movie.
No, I don't think so. And it was really really good. Like, it was just blended really well, and like all the characters were there, even though for no matter how brief. Like Ka, like
Yeah.
I liked Ka in the original because I thought he was like freaking hilarious. But like here, like they made him so deadly, and I was all like, this is probably how it would go down. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I liked how they kept everything like they even kept like the songs in. I was all like, no way, they're
Yeah,
not
that
gonna
was pretty
put in.
cool.
I remember going on YouTube, and I hadn't seen the movie yet, but I remember seeing "I Want to Be Like You" from Christopher Walken on there, and I was all like, wait, no way, they kept the songs in. I was all like, this is gonna be a really weird movie, and sure enough, it's in there, and I was all like, that's actually really good. Like, I didn't think it was
Yeah.
cheesy, I didn't think it was stupid. I thought it was like really well put together. I was like,
Yeah.
that's nice. You know what I mean?
Especially Bill Murray as Blue.
Yes. Oh
Oh
my
god.
gosh, dude, that was great. That was great. I thought he was a perfect choice for a character like
Yeah.
that because as soon as Bagheera calls him a con man, I was all like, that is Bill Murray. Like,
Hmm.
like I
Yeah,
was like,
and
that's great.
that's another thing because they make Baloo, more like a con man, where in the original he was just, Baloo.
Yeah, helpful bear.
But in the end, he was still the core character. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
end, he still grew to love Mowgli
Mm-hmm.
and not be that con man. Where
Mm-hmm.
Maleficent is just, oh, she's a completely different character than what we saw in Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm. And Bagheera as well. Bagheera is the same as he was in the original, and yet he had more to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think Bagheera was always my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love how they put more of him in.
Mm-hmm. And I forget. I can never remember that the guy who played him. He's the guy who played the Mandarin and the guy who played Bagheera in this film. But he's always playing a villain. The voice of Bagheera. But
Uh,
I was all like, it's so cool that he's a
okay.
hero now. Like, he's one of the main characters. I was like, that's cool. That's super cool. And then Idris Elba, like all the people they got to play these characters were like really really smartly chosen.
Hmm.
I thought Scarlett Johansson was kind of weird a little bit, but just because I was like, oh, I was just so used to Ka being like
Yeah.
sounding like Winnie the Pooh.
So I can kind of see why, like they're trying to do the whole seductive voice thing.
Yeah, and I actually, you know what? I thought it fit a lot, like a lot nicer for what they were going for with
Yeah.
Ka in this film. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that was
yeah, all around
great.
great movie. Um, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, okay. So one of the topics that I wanted to bring to you, and I asked you this over Hangouts, and I was talking to how this topic got started was I was talking to my brother, and we were talking about Batman versus Superman again because it's just something that's always been it's been on my mind ever since it came out, and we were talking about how we felt like DC was just kind of late to the party on bringing us like these movies. Like Man of Steel came out 3 years ago, I think, right?
Hmm. Uh,
Three or
I think it was
three,
2012, right?
yeah, or
Or
three
it
or
might have
three or
been 20. I'll see right now.
3 or 4 years ago, and then they gave us BVS. That's a really long stretch,
Yeah, it was
and
3 years ago.
yeah, and we were just talking like how it's just so late, like, and you know what I mean. And they didn't really hit the ground running. They just kind of like, and it feels like right now superhero movies are kind of in this area where they're like slowly dying. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like they're slowly starting to lose their footing because people are like, okay, we get it. it's a big universe, superheroes come and go, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just kind of wondering. I remember asking my brother this. I was all like, what if DC did something completely different? And because when I think of Iron Man, the reason Iron Man worked so well is because it was so surprising. Like nobody knew. Me included. I didn't know who Iron Man was until that movie came out. I was all like, "Oh my gosh, I love Iron Man now. He's awesome." And then I started researching more into Thor and Captain America and all these heroes. Like Iron Man was for me a huge bridge. But here's the thing about DC is that I feel like DC can't really do that unless they want to give us like really characters that nobody like knows. And they did it, with Arrow, and they're gonna do it with Cyborg and stuff like that. But Superman and Batman, like, I feel like if you were to go up to people and ask them, "Hey, do you know the origin story of Superman and Batman?" They'd be like, "Yeah, Batman lost his parents, Superman lost his planet. Superman grew up on a farm, Batman grew up rich, trained." Like people will tell you their origin stories because they're so iconic. You know what I mean? So I asked my brother, and this is the main topic I wanted to get to, is that should DC try to put a twist on these origin stories? I remember asking him, like, would you go see a movie where it was called Superman Red Sun, and it was about Superman landing in Soviet Russia? And for those of you who don't know, Superman Red Sun is a comic by Mark Millar where Superman lands in Soviet Russia and he becomes like a dictator basically, and it's super interesting. And I was wondering, like, Shane, like I asked my brother, like, would you go see a movie like that? You know what I mean? Would you go see a movie that's so twisted, like it's so it's so different? You know what I mean? So, like, I guess that's kind of the question I'm bringing to you. Like, would you like to see DC kind of move in a different direction with their movies instead of just taking the iconic characters and plopping them on the screen? They're taking characters with like completely alternate like universes and going in there.
Wow, that's a really interesting question.
Sorry.
Dang it, Blake. Too interesting.
But I guess if I'm to answer my own question first, so I can give you some time to think.
Mm.
I would actually find it extremely interesting because, on one hand, I think there should be some heroes that we, like Green Lantern or Wonder Woman, characters that people have an inkling of understanding about, but like people still aren't like huge on them. I think they need their own like solo movies. But I think with bigger heroes like Batman and Superman, I think we need to mix them up a little bit. Like we need to put them in a place where people are like, "Whoa, what is this? Superman didn't land in America," or something along the lines of Superman is like, I don't know, like an alternate universe Superman, like Superman's the president or something crazy like that. Or Batman, for example, who's had so many iterations that it's like ridiculous at this point. I think it would be interesting if we had the Flashpoint Batman, where it's not Bruce Wayne who is Batman, it's actually his father because Bruce Wayne died. I actually think that would be extremely interesting to see on a screen because, like, you're putting the audience in this, you're making the audience quote unquote uncomfortable because they're like, "Whoa, what? I didn't see that coming." Like, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine seeing what you think is going to be another Batman's Batman's parents are going to get killed and he's going to become Batman, but then seeing it's Bruce who dies and being all like, "Whoa, what the heck? What is this? Like, what happened?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you
Like,
mean like these would be solo movies or like connected?
I would think to be like maybe solo-ish movies, but
Mm-hmm.
if they wanted to connect them, like branch out into like that kind of this 52 universe thing, kind of like if they wanted to branch out and make like the Injustice League or something along those lines. I'm mostly talking about, for the most part, Superman and Batman because those two are just so like everyone knows them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I think
So I don't.
no,
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying I think that's a good idea. Like yeah, like you said, just because we've seen okay, so the thing is, Superman's kind of been gone for a while from film. The last one was Superman
Mm-hmm.
Returns. I don't know when that was. But
2006.
okay, so the thing is that it's like with Superman movies, it's always Lex Luthor's doing this thing, or the Batman movie, or it's usually Joker's doing this thing, or not even
Mm-hmm.
strictly movies. Even with I guess a lot of Batman stories, it's always a Batman and Joker story,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's like, oh yeah, well, Superman's gonna go up against Lex Luthor, Batman's gonna go up against Joker. So I feel like doing something like that would be a great change of pace,
Mm-hmm.
or even just I don't know, just doing a different kind of story where Batman maybe he's just doing like a regular crime, doing his detective work and trying to find out who did this murder
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah, like if anything, I just thought it would be an interesting like switch up, just because like people are like, whoa, this is interesting now. It's kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing where it's like, or a Suicide Squad, I think, thing where it's like, whoa, we've never seen something like this before. Like now I'm curious and now I want to go see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was kind of interesting because I heard more talks about Suicide Squad than I did about BVS. And I was all like, I think it's the fact that it's tied to characters that nobody is familiar with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think at this point, audiences just want to get like into like they want to experience something like Guardians gave them or Iron Man gave them. They want to experience characters that people are just all like, I never heard of you before. Let me get invested into you. Like show me how I can get invested into you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the thing that for me is just like I think at this point DC is just so like far like removed. I think they just kind of need like maybe a change of pace, you know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
But actually there was one more thing I wanted to bring up is that I don't think and this is kind of just an idea on my own. Um I I had this idea, you know, never mind, let me start over. Um Superman has never had like a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you think about it, I think the only Superman game I can actually think of off the top of my head is Superman 64, and that one sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that game's horrible. I played it. It sucks. Uh, um, and when I thought about it, I was all like, and I remember seeing this video. I didn't watch it, but I remember just seeing the title and being all like, huh. And the title was Why Superman Will Never Have a Good Game. And I was just kind of thinking like, I don't think that's true. Like I feel like Superman could have a good game. It just has to be done right. And I realized then, what defines a good Superman game? Well, most likely, when you think Superman game, you most likely want to play as Superman, right?
Yes.
Well, oh, thank you, thank you, class. Um, no, but I thought about it, and I had an idea. Like, if you think about it, like, remember Evolve?
Mm-hmm.
You know how it was all like four people versus like a giant monster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like regardless of how that game was received and played and how often and stuff like that, it was at least a really interesting concept, right?
Yeah.
I thought it would be really, really cool if someone could do that with Superman. Like one person plays as Superman and they have to like stop this like crazy heist, and like the other people are equipped with like weapons, built around defeating Superman, like
Yeah.
kryptonite guns or like red sun bombs and stuff like that, like things that can stop or delay Superman. Like I was just all like, that would be a much more interesting game because it's not just me playing Superman and flying around the city being invincible. It's actually like a challenge for both the player who plays as Superman and the player who plays as the other guys. So I was thinking, and that's how it brought me to the movie thing. I was thinking, maybe with DC's games as well, maybe we need a switch up, like because they've been doing the typical stuff for a long time. Like, you know what I mean? Like the only good game that DC has had in recent years has mostly been around Batman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and don't get me wrong, Arkham City is still one of my favorite games. I love that game. But it's the fact that they just can't seem to do it with anybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the weird part for me. It's just like shouldn't they want to like bring those characters into this cool light? Like don't they want to market the Flash or Green Arrow? Like I'm surprised we haven't had a Green Arrow game at this point, even if it is licensed. Like I'm just surprised at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I just feel like DC's just kind of really like dropping the ball on like their iconic characters again. Iconic characters. Like everybody knows, at least to some degree, who these characters are. Like when you hear the word Justice League, you're like, oh shoot, that's huge. Like you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just that's just my spiel on DC. Is just I feel like they need to move a little bit. I guess like just kind of get out of their box or get out
Yeah.
of Marvel's shadow. I guess is the best way I can put it. Which is weird for me to say because they should have never been there in the first place.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean that's all. That's all I have to say. I mean I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I just remember thinking when I was playing Arkham Knight,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, maybe if it was because I played the 3 previous games, but like I wasn't into it as much as I was the past 3. Like even Origins, I was really surprised, even though it was like my most anticipated game.
Mm-hmm.
And it might have been because, like I said, it was kind of the same, but with some extra stuff in it,
Mm-hmm.
like the 4th game in a series. But then I was also thinking, well, this one's pretty different because they won't have the Joker in it. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be this whole different thing, Arkham Knight, Scarecrow. But then Joker, comes back in the game. I just thought we've had 4 Arkham games, and the Joker has been one of the main conflicts every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they try something different with this?
Mm-hmm. And I would even argue, since with Arkham Asylum, it was all like, oh, sweet, the Joker's the final boss. I knew this was coming, and even then, it was surprising because it was all like, oh, that's not the Joker. That's oh crap, like that was awesome. But even in Arkham City, when they teased that, like, oh, it's gonna be Hugo Strange, like you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And even though I think that spoiler alert, the death of the Joker is one of the coolest moments in that game, I still am just kind of all I was still kind of along with everybody else being all like, like the Joker was like the main conflict again, and I was like, I kind of wanted more Hugo Strange. I thought that guy was pretty awesome. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And Two Face, not even in the game. I kind of as much as I love that game, I still give it a 10 out of 10. But I do think that there were some like I guess characters that they just sort of like overlooked. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
extends to Arkham Knight in some way. Like I haven't 100% of that game yet, so I'm probably missing a secret here and there. But I never saw Clayface again. I was all like, did Clayface die in Arkham City? Like when that rumor was coming around that Clayface was like probably dead, I was like, no, he's Clayface. He'll come back. And I was like, oh my gosh, they missed an opportunity. Like, where's Clayface? Is he actually dead? Like, did I kill him? Like, I was like flipping out. I was all like I remember seeing the Joker for the first time and being surprised, but I was all like, well, I kind of thought you'd come back, but I was like, no, where's Clayface? I need to know this like right now, like
Where's Clayface?
because they didn't do anything with him. Like I was all like, where
Yeah.
is he? And then I didn't even have like major expectations for Arkham Knight. I was just expecting them to like do what they did with City, like make the world. Of course it was Gotham City, so I expected the map to be bigger, but I also felt like that meant like bigger opportunities. Like I didn't see Croc, I didn't see like I just didn't see the characters that I was kind of like that's
And
weird.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, you didn't see Mr. Freeze either. You didn't see Killer Croc, you didn't see Mr. Freeze, you didn't see
Two-Face wasn't even in it that much.
yeah, he was a side mission, which I felt fit him, but like his side mission was like really short. I didn't see I was expecting them to bring in like I guess and like DLC for the characters existed, but I was all like, why is it DLC? Like, really? Like DLC?
Yeah.
Like I remember being like they had the Killer Croc stuff and the Mad Hatter stuff. I'm like, shouldn't this stuff have been included?
Hmm.
Like they're not like I remember watching them. I've seen people play them, and they're not that long. So I was all like, was this one of those like Battlefront things where like they just put the game out because they wanted it to release on a certain day and they didn't want to take their time? Like that just.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I know, man. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just whatever. But I don't know, man. But today I did. What's sitting on my desk right now is I did just get the issue of Game Informer, and on the cover is probably my most anticipated game coming up, Dishonored 2, baby.
Dishonored 2.
Dishonored 2. I'm gonna put a picture of this issue because it's so beautiful. I'm like, oh, I want this game so bad.
I can't wait for that game.
Dude, I'm so hyped. Like, I started reading the article because they wrote like a huge article on it, and I started reading it, and I'm just like, this sounds like it's gonna be so good. Like, I'm just like, oh, dude, yes! Because for those of you who don't know, I love Dishonored. So
Dishonored is so good.
yeah, I don't think I ever told you. I actually thought I was gonna hate that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother. It was back when it was first coming out. It was Black Friday, and my brother just bought like this, not like a huge slew, but we just bought like kind of whatever games were like on discount. So I got Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. He got Dishonored. He got like I think Grand Theft Auto. He got like just a bunch of games, and he was all like, dude, I think you like. He remember like we haven't played it yet, but he's like, I think you'd like Dishonored, and I was like, nah, dude, I think that game looks so stupid. And he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, it just looks so boring and dull, and just like, I don't really care about it. And then he didn't play it. He still hasn't beaten it. I beat it first. Like, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is one of the coolest things ever. Like, I remember beating that game and being all like, I think we were still in high school, and I told you, I was like, dude, you need to try this game. Like,
yeah, I remember when like I first heard of it, I thought, like, yeah, it looks okay. But then you said it was just so amazing. I thought, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And that was such an amazing game.
Yeah. And then you let me borrow Generations, which was like, oh my god, I'm so rusty on Sonic. Like I remember dying like multiple times and being like, God, I suck at this game. Why do I suck at this game? And then I remembered, oh yeah, it's not Adventure 2. That was like the only reason, besides me just not having played Sonic in so long, that I sucked at that game. But it was fun. It was a good game. Oh.
When does Dishonored 2 come out anyways?
Let me check.
Oh, he's checking the Game Informer.
November 11th.
Really?
Yeah. So hyped. I'm so hyped. I just liked. It looks so cool. Like they brought in new artists and stuff like that, and it looks like it's adopting a completely new style, and it just looks great. Looks great.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. And you know what's on the other side of that issue?
What?
Or what the next article is about?
No.
Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens, baby.
I was so surprised when they announced it so soon.
Yeah, I know. But actually, the trailer was super funny. I was all like, this looks like a good game. And my brother loves the Lego games so much. And I like them too, but like I can only play them for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'll just be like, okay, puzzle solved. Let's put it away, Shane. Like, come on. So, yeah, man. Pretty excited about that. Some good stuff coming out right now. Ooh. So looks like it's going to be a pretty promising year. You got with movies and games, like, you know what I mean? You got Finding Dory, you got Warcraft, which I'm excited for. I know you're not, but not because I play World of Warcraft. I don't know if I ever.
You play World of Warcraft, like?
Yes. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know the first thing about that game.
Are you a level 20 warlock?
Is that something in Warcraft? Can I do that?
Probably, right?
I have no idea. But I'm excited for that. I'm curious to see Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. Oh, X-Men. Totally forgot about that.
People are not loving X-Men.
Not? Really?
Or I think for the most part.
Really? I've heard nothing. Personally, I've heard nothing but good things about. Like people are saying, like this is gonna be the best X-Men ever, and I was all like, oh, okay.
I have heard good things, but I have to check right now because I think it didn't have a very good rating.
Really? Well, hey man, no offense, but it's by Bryan Singer, and he's kind of I'll never forget Superman Returns, Brian. I'm sorry, but I will never forget. I still can't believe he directed that. Like,
it's not out yet, but
it was so crazy though. I remember talking to my brother, and after the Days of Future Past, and he was like, we were both like, that was an amazing movie, and I'd be like, that's the guy who directed Superman Returns. And like I remember being all like, what did he do between then and now? Like what happened? Who talked to him? Who sat him down and talked to him? Did he stay after movie making class? Did the teacher have a stern word? What the heck happened? Like I was actually curious as to what happened. Who said something to him? So I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited to see what it's all about.
It's not out yet, but it currently has a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
Which is weird. But
all right.
No, I am really excited. Like I don't care what people say. I will watch it because it looks really good.
Part of me though is kind of like, is this going to be better than Days of Future Past? In my heart, I'm thinking no. So I don't know if I'm right though. But I feel the same way about another game that has recently come out, but I have not purchased yet.
Oh,
because I can't find it anywhere. Uncharted 4.
You can't find it anywhere?
I can't find it. I went to GameStop and I'm like, you guys have any copies of Uncharted 4? And they laughed. I was like, oh, that's not a good sign.
Wait, did they really laugh?
Yes, they chuckled. They were like, oh, no, dude. Like, seriously, the game was gone. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Oh man, did you get it?
No, I don't have it. Well, I'm here at college right now, so I can't get it. But
excuse
me.
I'm just kidding, dude.
No, I do want to play it because it looks it looks great.
Part of me though is still gonna cling on to 2, just being all like, no, 2's better, 2's better, 2's better. Like I'm just gonna cling on to that. But we'll see. I've been challenged by sequels lately, a lot lately.
Challenged?
Yeah, like I've been playing. I don't know if I told you this, but Pokemon Soulsilver. I had to restart again.
What?
Because what happened was I did the game out of order. So my Pokemon were like criminally underleveled for one part for like the last gym. And then they were like way overpowered for one segment that I was supposed to do earlier. So I had like I would have to grind like at least 10 to possibly 12 levels of Pokemon. And then 12 times 6, that's like what? Like, I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but like, yeah, no, it would have been like, I would have to grinded like 60 levels in total. And I was all like, there's no way I'm going to sit and grind through all that. So I started over and I finally figured out what I'm going to do. And I'm blowing past it. I think I've put in maybe like a solid like 10 hours and I'm already at like, I don't think it's 10 actually, but like less than 10. I don't remember. I have to check. But I'm already at like the 5th gym. So I'm like, yeah, pretty proud. And it's challenging my view of whether or not I like Pokemon Gen 1 more or not. So, yeah. And then Star Fox Zero is doing that as well. Made it to the final boss, and I can't beat him. He's so hard. Like, I was literally like, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? This shouldn't be hard. I beat this in 64, and then it was so weird though, because like that was my mindset going in. I'm like, the final boss is probably just going to be the same one from N64. I'm probably going to blow past it. And no, it's completely different. And it's crazy hard. And I'm just so like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm never going to beat this. Like, oh man. So Star Fox Zero is definitely challenging whether or not I think 64 is better. So
you are enjoying Star Fox Zero?
I am. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm having a great time with it.
There's so many games coming out. I can't.
Yeah, no, dude.
I still have to get Pokken Tournament. I have to get Star Fox Zero, Uncharted 4.
Johnny, don't get Pokken, dude.
Oh no?
They'll eat you alive, man. What? Seriously.
Oh, really?
It's so bad. Like, no, don't get me wrong. The game's great. The game's fun. I love it. But dude, the people on there, they're like, I'm getting infinite comboed like 3 times a week. It's so bad. Like 3 times, like every time I play that game, someone on there is a freaking pro, and they just infinite combo me.
Oh, that's so.
And they do it with, and it's weird because they do it with everybody. Like there's no tier list. Like I don't think a tier list for that game exists. Everybody's really good at this game. Like
that
sucks.
That's savage.
Yeah, no, dude. I tried. I've won like a few rounds, but I've won by like. There have been times where I had the guy at one more hit. Like I had to hit him one more hit because his HP was at 1. And I still lost. Ah, that game's so hard, but it's a lot of fun, dude. I think you should pick it up, but don't go
God, yeah,
online, man.
there's so many games coming out.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot, and a lot of
I
movies
know.
too. Is so much. This is a big
Oh,
year,
I know. Jeez, it's just so
and
much.
we're not even halfway done with it yet, huh?
No, just
No, dude.
yeah, and then and then during the fall, oh my gosh, so many.
Yeah, no. That's what we got Just Nerds for, bro. We got to cover it all.
It's true. Yeah, but I feel so sad. 'Cause I have to prioritize some games just because I want them so bad. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
things like Pokken Tournament or like Uncharted 4 that I want so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, man, for sure. It's gonna be a jam-packed year, bro.
This
Should be
summer,
fun though.
it's gonna be a
Yeah,
lot of
summer's
gaming this summer.
yeah, summer's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, man. You got anything else you want to bring up, or
Let me check. Check.
oh,
Yes.
Rogue One, Star
Oh yeah,
Wars?
the trailer came out.
Yeah, I don't think we ever talked about it.
No,
We're
it looks
missing a,
really
unfortunately, we're missing our Star Wars enthusiast.
dang.
Yeah, no, but super pumped.
Yeah.
Because at first I wasn't convinced. I was just all like, why are they going back? Like, why don't we just get to episode 8 already? Come on, really?
Mhm.
But then I saw the trailer and I was all like, all right, I'll, I'll, I'll humor you, movie. And then I saw it again. I was like, okay, never mind. This movie's gonna be great. Like, so it looks pretty awesome. I just kind of, I'll never get over the fact that I just want episode 8. Like, just give me episode 8. Who the
Yeah.
heck is Ray? Tell me.
When are we
Tell
in
me.
it? Like in 2 years now? Because it comes out probably 2017 or
Yeah, I think
2018.
so.
I mean, or what do I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know.
2018,
2017.
2017,
I think. I don't know.
2017.
I'm losing track.
Well, regardless,
Yeah,
I'm still excited for it.
I'm
So.
just excited for it just because it's like there's Darth Vader will probably be in it, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's not gonna be like Jedi or the light side and the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Chosen heroes that have to go against the dark. It
Mm-hmm.
could be watching these
Guys,
people in Star Wars just
yeah, guys with guns fighting
yeah
other guys with
doing their
guns
thing.
in space.
Space.
Yeah,
Uh,
should be
yeah.
good.
There's also Alden Ehrenreich. I'm saying that wrong, definitely.
Alden Hemrick or something like that.
Yeah, new
Hmm.
Han Solo.
Yeah, I heard about that. Doesn't look like him.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't.
And I was all like, oh, the guy, some guy got cast as young Han Solo, and I was looking at him, I was all like, that doesn't look like Harrison Ford whatsoever.
Yeah, I thought he looks kind of older than he was when he played Han Solo.
I'm like, are they just gonna CGI him? Is that what they're planning?
It's weird. I don't know.
But
Because I remember they were looking between like three guys, and one of them might have been the guy from Transformers 4, the boyfriend.
Yeah, him. Nobody.
That's not a good movie.
Yeah.
I thought I can see him as a young Han Solo. Yeah, sure, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then this kind of like, oh, okay, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yep. We'll see how it goes. That's all I can really say, I guess.
Completely sold on the movie yet. We haven't seen anything, but hopefully it's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm hoping it's gonna be pretty good. So
I guess talking about that, what do you think of Star Wars being like this huge franchise now? Us getting pretty much a different movie every year.
Part of me thinks that it's an amazing thing. It's awesome to see Star Wars get even bigger than what we originally had, because with Lucas it wasn't really going anywhere. You know what I mean? I think it was going to stay dead for quite some time. Besides maybe some TV.
All we had was the extended universe.
Yeah, besides maybe some TV stuff, and I don't know. We might have gotten Episode 7 from George Lucas in 2030. But I think Disney has the best plan for it because they're the masters of marketing.
Yeah.
That mouse knows what he's doing. So I definitely think that it's in good hands. I think that it's going to only get better. I think it's going to be great. However, a part of me thinks that in the end, I think they're gonna overmarket a little bit because of like what we're seeing happen to Marvel right now. Like how it's slowly becoming okay. We get it, Marvel. You make great stuff. We're done. Like, you know what I mean, kind of.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
getcha.
yeah, I could see that happening to Star Wars being all like, okay, it's a great movie. We still love it, but can't you give us something new? You know what I mean? Like, I can just see that happening.
Yeah, because I remember when it was announced, we were getting this string of movies
Mm-hmm.
that I was talking about with Seth and Max at different points. And I was thinking, like, what do you think about that? Us getting this whole like big franchise now,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't excited about it, and I was really surprised because they're big Star Wars fans,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just thinking, well, like, all we've had is the three movies, well, and the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
All we've had is like this kind of condensed thing of Star Wars. And Max, I understood his point. He said, well, yeah, it was this condensed thing, but the fact that we had that was just like it was amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
Like we,
that's actually,
yeah.
yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I was just thinking, well, even not for them specifically, but just in general, like if you love Star Wars so much, like I guess my thinking is like I love Star Wars, and that's why I'm happy about it because we're getting more of it after not having so much for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I can kind of see what they're going. Like, yeah, after a while, it'll just be another Star Wars movie. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
I don't
think,
know. Right now, I'm excited.
yeah. But like, here's the thing about Star Wars though, is that Star Wars, unlike the Marvel universe, has like a legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
because the Marvel universe has a legacy, but in comic form, and comics are a pretty unpopular medium. But with Star Wars, you had three films that are like live in legends. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are like the three sci-fi films. So I can see how people seeing that, like the fact that it's growing so rapidly and so big is kind of like, I guess, ruining the magic of the original three.
Yeah,
So I can definitely see that. But at the other hand, I feel like a majority, judging by The Force Awakens, if that's anything to go on, because, that movie was so small, um, is a good indicator that a lot of more people are just extremely excited about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, just the fact that Star Wars, like it, I feel like people would have a very different mindset, especially if it was called Star Wars: The Force Awakens and that movie turned out to be like horrible.
yeah,
But the fact that it seems so authentic is, I think, the reason why it's gonna continue and be pretty successful.
yeah. Because however people feel about like how superhero movies are now, like yeah, it's just another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marvel still brings out these great movies after
Mm-hmm.
so long.
Yeah.
I feel like Star Wars it can still do that even though it might be a more common thing now, which I understand,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it necessarily means that it'll take away anything from it.
Yeah. No, 100% agreed on that end. But I think the thing that worries me, kind of, sort of, is the prequels, or not necessarily the prequels, but like the Han Solo movie, the
Mm,
Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Like those movies are the ones that I'm just kind of like, okay, that seems a little tricky. The best way
yeah,
I can describe it is that, like, it's going to be hard to make those characters tie in between, what we, the prequels and then what we have now, like the originals. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be hard to get that space just right so that you don't have these people from like the huge fans of Star Wars that are being all like, "Oh, the Star Wars: The Force Awakens was a lie," and I don't know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like kind of like how like they just overreacted and like hated the movie because it didn't feel, I don't know, like legit. I don't know how to say it. Like the Force sleepers that we talked about.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
those
I
guys.
guess it's just I'm curious about where they will go after they do like the Han Solo movie, the Obi-Wan movie, because Marvel, they can do another Incredible Hulk, another Iron Man, another Thor, and then they'll meet in another Avengers movie.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure where they could go because they have to. essentially still stay tied to the original, like the main trilogy they're working on,
Mm-hmm.
episode 7, 8, and 9. And they're starting off with Rogue One, a prequel, Young Han Solo, a type of prequel, looking at Obi-Wan Kenobi, a kind of prequel. So where are they gonna go after like these set of prequel stories?
Mm-hmm. Like, and where are they going to go with after? My big question is where are they going to go after
Yeah.
episode 9? Are they just going to keep going? Like, wow, that's going to be. We're going to get to like episode 12 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm with you on that end. Is like, where are we going to go? Like, once that plan that we saw is done. You know what I mean? And I had the same question for Marvel. You know what I mean? So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I had to say.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, so that was a really good discussion, brother.
Yep. So
Yeah.
you want to take us out?
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on Just a Podcast.
See
Take
ya.
care.